Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Brave Cat here once again with another Frontier Signals update. So I'm going to have a pretty substantial update for the website here coming tonight. It's not totally live yet, but I'll give a little bit of a sneak peek for it. So, fixed up the buttons here. They all look a lot better here. So that's going for all links across the page. Over here on the space weather feeds here, I got a couple more links just for alternate sources. So we got the NOAA space weather over here. And then if we go down to the sunspot area, we've got still, again, the link to the far side sunspots, but now we also have their Stanford magnetograms, because again, SDO is still down. And I think apparently that's also could be due to the minor or partial government shutdown going on. I'm not really sure. I think that stuff's kind of ridiculous when we have government funded, which is really just taxpayer funded, organizations or programs that get shut down, but we all still have to pay taxes apparently, right? So anyways, not really a whole lot to report today. So looking at the space weather, that's actually going to be kind of the most notable thing going on. So there's not just going to be one CME headed towards us, but there's now going to be several. So they're still predicting over here a G1 to G2 storm, but I think this can easily go into the G3 with everything going on here. Kind of just depends on how the BZ interacts and how much magnetic coupling the solar wind actually gets. So we've got multiple flares headed at us at this point. We've got another one that just happened on the sun, and even a couple others that I think I missed. So again, space weather news. I saw Ben Davidson, he always has the best scoop, but I try to just kind of round everything out with whatever else we got going on here. So definitely going to be on the lookout for some minor to even moderate solar storm conditions here tonight, going into tomorrow, and even going into the next couple days as these other flares hit us. But other than that here, the main thing that's been going on over here in the States, we've got these really massive wildfires going on. So these are going on over in Nebraska. And I mean, this is just pretty large scale going on here. There's all this farmland, mostly cattle ranches, and food for those cattle. So this could be pretty problematic. And, we did have those high winds, and, most of the kind of Midwest here. Is this the Midwest? I don't know. But this whole area here is in a red flag warning zone. At this point, it's been pretty hot. It's been pretty warm in these areas. But even with that said, some of the aspects of these fires and how they have spontaneously erupted seems a little bit suspicious. And, especially we go back to the California fires and many other things that have been going on for several years, if not decades now. Starting to get a little bit suspicious that a lot of these fires are not entirely natural. So, some people would agree with that. Other people would have no clue what I'm talking about. But we'll get there. So, anyways, just going to mention that because that is pretty significant. Let's go over here and look at the Earthquake 3D, see if anything major has happened. So I made a post over on X, like I do sometimes, just covering some of the activity that has been going on in the US. So we got a new 5 over here after that 5.8 that struck. So looking at the previous activity, looks like this area has filled in with similar sized activity. Anything going on over here in the States? Well, we've got a little bit more activity up north this time, including a 4 up here in Canada. And let's see, we still have this ongoing tremor swarm. It's just kind of been ongoing for pretty much this whole start of this year, I think. So I'm not really sure where this whole thing is leading at this one spot here. But, we did see, I believe, a 4 or even a couple of 4s happen over here in the Bay Area already this year. So, some felt reports going out of there. And then again, some of the same locations there. So we have the previous round of 5s, and not too much else other than that. Another deep earthquake. Looks like we got another 5 in the mix down here. Although they may have been from yesterday. And looks like some of that pressure has gone out to the Indian Ocean over here, in between these zones. And other than that, it's been pretty quiet for earthquakes, and volcanoes for that matter. There's not really too much to report on here. Pretty much things have kind of died down a little bit for now. Even that one up in Kamchatka that had the over 30,000 foot high blast, seems like that has pretty much died down as well for now. So other than that, not too much else to report on here. Just one last look at the sunspots. So we got the far side regions over here. These 3 are still on here. So for now, these could be a potential threat in the future. And looking at the magnetogram for the Earth-facing side, here is the sunspot in question, or sunspot group, that has been causing all the flaring. Pretty large sunspot surrounded by just smaller magnetic regions. And then we do have this region up here starting to poke out. It doesn't look too crazy, but just another region to watch out for. So other than that here, I'm going to try to finish up on these updates for the website, and right now I'm actually trying to get the next historical paper out here. And this is actually going to end up being a 5-part series, because once I dived into Albert Einstein and his interactions with Charles Hapgood, well, things got pretty deep. And, I already kind of knew that, but doing actual research on it, it's like, whoa, there's a whole lot more to the story that really kind of lays down the foundation for the other 2 parts. So in between parts 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, we're going to have the Charles Hapgood and Einstein paper, because that gets a whole article on its own, really. And I don't know, we might have to do that for a couple other prominent scientists here, because, once we get past the, mid 1800s, things really start to take off, and especially going into the 1900s to modern, yeah, there's a lot here. So, lots to cover, but that'll do it for today's video. Hope y'all enjoyed, got something out of it. Please like and subscribe for more. Share this video if you dare, and I'll catch you all in the next.